everybody. Welcome back to Cynic Meets Sunshine. We're your host. I'm Andre, and this is my beautiful wife, Tanisha.
Hey, guys.
Coming back to you after 1 week hiatus. Last week was spring break, so we took a break from recording. What do we do, babe?
It was a pretty chill spring break.
Yeah.
Our granddaughter came down from Katy and spent the week with us. We didn't really make a lot of plans. We have some fun stuff coming up, so spring break was kind of chill. It's our son's birthday every spring break, so our granddaughter came down, spent the week. We had like a family party for little Andre. Really just a lot of quality time. Yeah. Family dinners, game nights.
I love the getting up later than typical when.
For sure. Like a slowdown in the schedule was so nice, like some slower mornings. We got to go to the gym and like kind of take our time a little bit. Everything was,
for the most part. I still
chill.
had to go to work, but we didn't have a rushed morning like we typically do.
Nice chill spring break.
Yeah, speaking of the gym, Tanisha is 1 week out from her pro debut. Next week, she will be out there in Las Vegas, Nevada.
March 29th, I will compete in my first pro show. I'm making my pro debut, and I'm really
gonna be awesome.
Excited.
Yeah, things are
a
coming
nervous,
together.
But like primarily excited. I wouldn't even describe it as nervous. It feels so new to me, like, you know, doing something for the first time.
No, it's going to be good. Things are coming together. You're looking great. Day by day making changes. So I'm excited. Very excited. Can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, it's been a rough like couple of weeks because we've really been grinding it out to be ready. So energy has been a little bit low for me. Been on the hungry side, the tired side, and definitely you and the kids have been like picking up the slack and being so helpful. It has been such a blessing. I feel extremely grateful going into this show for all the support.
Good.
You, the kids, Roland.
Good.
It's been really good.
Good. Let's get into our topic. So when we started talking about doing a podcast, we took the relationship as the subject. We would be going over marriages and relationship. And we tried to break that down into 3 subtopics, 3 categories that we would talk about because we wanted to make sure we had content. We don't want to do this for 2 weeks and be like, yeah, what are we going to talk about now? Yeah. So what do we get with it? We call them the 3 C's: communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's connection, which is physical and emotional intimacy. And then there's conflict. So pretty much we could talk 4 days about something that goes into those 3.
For sure.
Yeah. Communication happens to be our Achilles heel. So as good as I feel we are, it's probably the one area of those 3 that we could use the help in the most. So we've made great strides, but yeah, it's where we struggle a little bit, right? Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. Communication is the area that we're like constantly trying to improve upon because it's like how we said, that's like the key to a successful marriage. The key to us staying happy together, feeling connected is making sure that we both feel heard and that we understand each other, that we're both listening.
Right.
And this is something that we are trying to perfect because we have very different styles of communication.
Yeah, we do.
We both prefer to communicate different ways. And I think we're at a good spot right now. I think even doing this podcast is like relationship therapy for us.
It is.
Because it's making us even more aware of some bad habits we have, interrupting each other, things like that. And we are being much more mindful of really hearing each other and allowing each other to communicate in our own style and taking the time to really understand each other's point. And it can be tricky. It's a work in progress. And I feel like we're getting better and better at it. But this just goes to show like 26 years of marriage and you still should be working at it.
Yeah, you should. I don't think we'll ever like, we got there.
Perfect.
Yeah. We made it. We're done.
I mean, you might find your sweet spot from time to time.
Hopefully. I mean, I think we found a sweet spot now, but it still takes work.
Yeah,
the work is never going to be done. So that brings us into our topic for the day. We're going to be talking about tone of voice. Okay.
All right. Say it again.
Yeah, tone of voice. Tone of voice can be like that grenade that goes off, and it had high kill radius. 15 meters is more like 30, 45 meters. So we don't want that grenade to go off. So we're going to be giving you some tips today to avoid that.
He hates that word tips, but he always says tips.
No, practical tips. I hate practical tips. Yeah.
Yes, we are going to give you guys some advice there because it is not what you say always, but how you say it.
Yes.
How you speak to someone is about to shape your whole conversation. So if you come with an attitude, be prepared for everything to just blow up in your face. And if you come with correct, with kindness, warmth, then most likely you're going to be met with that as
Most
well.
likely, yeah. Do you have any examples of? Okay, I have a
Unfortunately,
few.
I do. Yeah, unfortunately, I do. And I definitely will never like blame prep or anything, but I will say when you're lower calories, lower energy, you really have to check yourself because it's nobody's fault that I'm deciding to diet down right now and get ready for a show. However, it does affect my mood and it does affect my energy. And sometimes I will just be a little bit snappy.
Don't blame prep. Don't blame
I
prep.
know.
Just get
So
to it.
yesterday, Andre asked me, we both do evening cardio. So we kind of decide who's going to go first because we both wanted to use the treadmill.
Yeah.
And so he's like, do you have cardio tonight? I'm like, I have cardio every night.
Yes.
So that was my tone.
Say it again with that. Yeah.
I have cardio every night.
Yeah. Because
And
you might have rolled your eyes just like that too.
And so my tone and my body language was saying like, what a dumb question. Like, oh, duh, of course I do. So immediately he felt hurt and disrespected because it's like, okay. And so I stopped myself there and I realized like, whoa, I had a terrible tone.
Yeah.
And it was not the words that I said, but the way I said it. If I had have just said, oh yeah, tonight I do have cardio, babe. Did you want to go first or do you want me to go first? He would have met me back with, oh, okay. No, you go ahead or I will. And everything would have been smooth. But the tone in which I said, yeah, I have cardio every night, just set everything off for him to feel offended and go right into defense mode.
Right.
Thankfully, I was able to backtrack out of that one and immediately I did apologize. It stung probably still for a second for him, but we pulled right out of that one.
Yeah. I had to fight it because I wanted to bark back at you and be like, well, I'm going to go watch the show in the room. I don't want to sit out here with you.
It honestly had potential, that one thing, to ruin our whole night.
It does. It will. That is what we're going to be talking about, tone of voice in communication and how it can build the bridge in good communication or it can burn the bridge in good communication. We're going to start off and talk about the science behind it. I'm going to be giving you 5 scientific factors behind why tone of voice matters. Number 1 is, have you ever heard of the Mehrabian Rule?
I have recently.
Okay. Probably not before this
Not
week.
before this.
Okay. Number 1 is the Mehrabian Rule. This rule states that 93% of communication is nonverbal.
Wow.
Okay. So the rule is 7, 38, and 55%. 7% of communication
is like the actual words.
Is actual words. It's just actual things that are said that I'm saying to you. 38 is tone of voice. And then the other 55% is nonverbal. That's hand gestures. You love to talk with your hands. That's hand gestures. That's rolling your eyes. That's facial expression, size. 55% comes down to nonverbal communication. 38 is tone of voice, how you're saying something, and then 7% is actual words.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. The only caveat is a lot of people mistakenly use that rule in talking about all communication. The studies that they did, they were talking about specifically face-to-face communication between two people, and in which they're talking about emotions and feeling. So that kind of fits well with what we're talking about here, relationships.
Right.
But yeah, 7% is actual words. So that is one factor that tells you it's not what you say, it's how you say it. 93 is nonverbal. Number 2 are mirror neurons. These are the neurons in your brain that are going to fire when, if you, let's say you took the kids to the zoo and a monkey jumped out of the monkey enclosure and he scared you. And that thing in your brain, the amygdala, is going to fire off and say, okay, this is a threat here. I need to deal with this, or I need to fight or flight. So that same thing in your brain happens when you see someone snap at you. When you ask, are you doing cardio right now? And they snap at you. So my brain is going to want to mirror that. So if you come to me and you're snappy, I'm going to snap back.
Right.
I'm going to want to bark at you.
That would be the immediate response.
Yes.
Like, match your energy.
We're talking about neurons.
Okay. So we know, and this is why I love that you put the science in there. We know that that is an immediate response in our brain. So we have to take some responsibility there. Like yesterday, right? When we had that little incident where I popped back with my tone, and it's like, you can say, oh, I'm about to want to pop back at her, but you said you stopped yourself.
Yes.
Because your immediate response was you could have got slick with your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And we started a whole thing and we're disconnected and it's a whole mess, right? But because you know you have those little mirror neurons and you're aware of it now, which is why Andre likes to bring the science into it to make us aware so we can make better decisions, right?
Yes, that's exactly.
So now that we know when we're about to pop back, okay, I know exactly what this is.
I know what this is.
Let
I
me
recognize
let me
this.
calm down
Yes.
and think logically. My person just had a snappy moment, and perhaps if I go ahead and don't match that energy,
Yes.
and I don't give in to that, I can kind of help them shift out. Hey, are you okay? Are you having a bad day?
So the mirror neurons help you realize that tone is contagious.
Yes.
So if you come in with a certain level of energy and negativity, it's probably going to be met. You're going to be met with that same level. So think about that and understand that in yourself.
Right, because you can literally start like a whole war and set things off just from that crappy tone.
Tone of
And
voice.
because your partner won't always understand their immediate response. They're just going to match your energy, mirror it, and then now everything went left.
The third one is AI and voice analysis. They are able to use AI now. They'll just look at a video of a couple, and without hearing the words that are being said, AI is able to detect where there's disconnect, where there's disengagement, where there's anger. If the computers can see that, it's all about nonverbal. It's not the words, it's how it's being said. Number 4 is tone triggers for emotional and physiological responses. So this is kind of similar to what we were just talking about, how the energy you put out is you're going to be met with that same energy. So if I come to you with a calming tone, with a soft tone, then hopefully
it's
then
mirrored.
your parasympathetic nervous system is kicked in, and that's going to engage trust. That's going to engage you to want to listen and to connect with me. If I have a harsh or angry tone with you, then your amygdala is kicked in, and you're gonna want to fight. The energy is going to be matched. Is essentially what
and we
this is
know
saying.
this to be true.
So, but it is physiological. So this is things that are happening in your brain.
Right. So some of these things just spark off with no help at all. It's just how we are wired in our brain to respond to these kind of things. And that's why tone is so important. And I really do believe this is an issue, not just for relationships, but this is something you can apply with your children.
Oh, yeah.
They feel maybe belittled. They feel, like their feelings aren't being considered, things like that. This is things you can consider in the workplace with friendships. Tone is a huge part of communication. And I think that in any relationship, even if you feel your partner is like the primary problem, you should always be able to check yourself and fix what you can. And the only thing that you are truly in control of is yourself. And tone is definitely something you can choose to control.
All right. And then the last one was there was another researcher, Dr. John Gottman. He had been doing research on relationships for over 40 years. So longer than a lot of us have been alive. Not me, but yeah. So he's been studying relationships for a long time, 40 years. What he put out is that negative tones, sarcasm, contempt, criticism, all those create emotional distance, which, we can see that.
Yeah.
And they're strong indicators for divorce. And soft tones increase emotional safety and lead to better conflict resolutions.
Emotional safety. That is so important. Like that should not be skipped over. A softer tone with your partner creates emotional safety, vulnerability. That already is going to open a door for better communication.
I think tone of voice is probably something I struggle with. It's just my default.
You're just hard.
Yeah. I think that, and you're soft. Yeah. I'm very sarcastic. I'm very rough. It's something I have to work on constantly, and I hope I'm doing better. Doing the podcast in general has helped us to look at ourselves in a lot of aspects and a lot of topics, and I think this is one that, I need to watch my tone.
I agree. This has helped us so much with self-awareness.
Yes.
And it's this is definitely just a small little tweak I can make in our relationship to make things better. I definitely agree that is huge, and all the science behind it is so interesting to me. And I think that that's really helpful also when trying to make changes, because in relationships, wouldn't you agree, we kind of just get into habits, good or bad, right? And it becomes our dynamic. That's how we talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's our thing. That's how we do. And so if you get in these little habits where you and your partner are just snappy with each other, that's just the way you guys communicate. You guys are sarcastic with each other. You have to watch that, because sometimes it will just kind of snowball. It's really hard to pull out of that. I was talking to somebody who, their them and their partner will pop back at each other a lot.
Mhm.
And it's so much of a habit
Yes.
that it's just the natural response now. So you really have to make a decision like, hey, do I want to see things change in my relationship for the better? I'm going to go ahead and make an effort here to change my tone and not have our relationship continue down the same path, but totally change. And you can do that in your relationship. You can say, we're going to start a new chapter and we're going to revamp things.
All right. So those are 5 scientific factors that help you understand why tone matters. Now we're going to go into some common pitfalls that we find ourselves in when it comes to communicating and tone of voice.
Right.
The first one is the accusatory tone.
Obviously, if you have an accusatory tone towards someone, the first response is going to be what? To defend themselves. You're accusing me of something, I'm going to defend myself. Where if you, instead of being accusatory, pose it as a question. If you do have a question, don't accuse.
Yeah, don't accuse someone.
Right. And really just go to the person for answers carefully, softly, gently, and most likely you'll be met with an answer instead of a defense.
Number 2 is the sarcastic or dismissive tone. This one's a big one for me because I just am naturally sarcastic. It feels good to be sarcastic. So
It's kind of, yeah, just how your sense of humor, everything is kind of sarcastic.
the other day when I came into the room and we were a few hours late, we were trying to get out to the gym. We had to cook breakfast. We had to both do cardio, do check-ins. I came in the bathroom and I smelled bleach. And so I was like, well, damn, no wonder we can't get out of the house 2 hours later. And you're in there with a toothbrush and bleach in the shower right now. I was trying to be funny. It didn't come across to you as funny. And it started a whole argument.
So that is sarcastic, but also accusatory because now I feel like you're putting blame on me for being late. So then my response is to defend myself because I'm like, okay.
You went in hard. She went in pretty hard. And then I was like, I was just joking. I was being sarcastic.
And I'm like, what? Yeah. So it set the tone for a not good
morning
conversation and morning.
Not good morning.
That goes back to our communication podcast that we talked on too about time and place.
Yeah.
Because it was already like maybe a high stress.
Yeah, it was stress. We were trying to get out of there and rushing. And you thought it was a great time to, start bleaching the shower. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, probably bad decisions
on both parts. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's number 2. Number 3 is a flat or disengaged tone.
That makes me feel when it's just like a monotone or flat. Mm-hmm. It's like, stop talking. I don't care. And that's hurtful.
The only thing that comes to mind is if I'm on the computer doing work, I'm working from home, maybe I'm on the couch, I'm editing the podcast, and you come in and you want to talk. I'm trying not to engage because I want to continue what I'm doing, where maybe I should, in a nice, soft voice, tell you, hey, I'm trying to, pay attention, or I got this thing I need to prepare for.
Do you think that that's answering me with, I don't want to talk right now, when really you could just say, hey, babe, in a loving way, like, I'm going to edit for a minute, and then I really would love to talk to you. And that makes me feel like, oh, let me consider his time right now.
Yes.
And he cares to hear what I have to say later. I came at a bad time, my bad. But I think one way we've combat that recently with you working from home or me working from home, sometimes you don't realize that I'm busy or you're busy because we're right here in the house, is I've started to ask, is this a good time?
Is it a good time?
And that's helpful too, I think, determining is this a good time and place to chat.
All right, the next one is the parent or condescending tone. No one wants to feel like they're
being
belittled.
Talked down to.
Yeah, talked down to.
Small.
Stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's a dumb question. It's like, there's no need to answer somebody that way at all because it's either going to cause them to be angry or have hurt feelings, which we don't want either one.
And then the last one we put on here, number 5, was texting in tone. And this is huge for us because in communication, I'm a texter. I'd rather write all of my thoughts down so I can make sure they're in the proper order. They make sense. One follows the other. It helps. And that way, when I take it to you, I have everything listening.
Hit all your points.
I hit all my points. You, on the other hand, you don't want to text.
No.
Yeah, we've come to learn that.
Face-to-face conversation. I want to see I want to hear the tone. Okay. I want to see his face. I want to look in his eyes. That is the best way to communicate for me to have understanding.
Yes.
Because I will read his text message completely different than maybe how it was sent.
There's no nonverbal. There's no nonverbal.
I will read a tone in it. Mm-hmm. I will read just, I'll have my own interpretation. And I think that is the case For many people,
For
through
sure.
text messaging,
Yes.
you will insert here your own tone, or insert here,
Oh,
a
he said this?
backstory,
I was like, that's
or
not
you'll
what he said.
infer,
Yeah.
read between the lines.
Yeah.
When it's like, no reading between the lines necessary, no inferences, just this is it.
So our compromise is if we have something, I will write it down. I'll send her the text, and then she'll come in and we'll have a discussion about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that way he gets all his points out, and we're able to take our two different communication styles, merge them. Like he said, he gets all of his points out. I get to go in there and see the tone in which he wanted it delivered, and then we can make sure that we both received it correctly. Text tones, it's a little bit different than, we were talking about your tone, your body language, all of that. These are text tones. This is text communication, but I still think it falls.
Yeah. The reason we put this one in here is because people text in this day and age. So just keep in mind when you're texting, that nonverbal is not there. So you love emojis.
I love to throw an emoji.
All I got to do is throw in an emoji,
An
and
LOL.
I'm good. Yeah, throwing an LOL. That doesn't. Yeah.
But that does, for me, lighten up the conversation to let you know, hey, I am being lighthearted right here.
So those were the common pitfalls in tone. Next, we have some communication exercise. The first one is a tone swap challenge. Okay. So this is what we want you guys to do. We're gonna start it off.
Yes.
And the first one is, what do you want for dinner? Let's set the scene. Okay. I come home. You've been home all day with the kids. It's crazy. Yeah, working. You got a couple crazy clients. Yeah, all the pickups. Trying to do dinner, and I come home, put my bag down. The first thing I say is, "What's for dinner?"
So that tone immediately is going to get the response of, "Excuse me, hello."
Yeah. Would you like to know what I've been doing today?
Yeah, hello. Opposed to,
"Hey babe, what's for dinner?"
Or how about, "Hey babe, how was your day?"
Yeah. Same words. In this exercise, I want it to be the same words. Don't switch it up.
So when you set the scene next time, definitely say hello first.
Okay.
Because I think that would be helpful for the gentleman out there. Because don't set your bag down and ask what's for dinner. But definitely come in with a little bit of a hello and everything first. And if you're just doing a tone swap, then it would say, "Hey babe, what's for dinner tonight?"
"Hey babe, what's for dinner tonight?" With a nice smile and maybe kiss.
Yeah.
What's
Throw a
for
little
dinner
season.
tonight? Yeah.
A little season on there.
Versus, "What's for dinner tonight?"
Yeah.
Or
the tone is like you already are expecting, like, you don't look like you're doing anything. You don't look like you have anything put together. What's even for dinner?
Yeah. What are you even here for?
Yeah.
Why do I keep you around?
It's like very, very rude and demeaning. And with that tone change, it's conveying a completely different message. It's just like, oh, like excited, like inquiring. Hey, what's for dinner?
Okay. So that's the tone swap challenge. So pick something with you and your person. Go through that sentence with the different types of ways you can say it, and then ask them and have them tell you what they feel when you say it that way.
And here's one more example too, just to kind of help you if you're thinking of different situations. I know with couples, especially couples with children, if you're running around the house and you're trying to do a ton of things and you see your partner's kind of chilling, okay? And you are fighting for your life. Okay, you got to get to work, you're getting all the stuff together, and your partner appears that they're just kind of laid back, and you really are trying to manage all the things to get out the door, right? And here's an example where you could check your tone. You look at your partner like, hello, can I get a little help here? It'd be really nice if you could get up and help, okay? So your partner most likely isn't going to say, oh, yes, let me get up and help you. That's going to have them be that initial response, right? They're going to defend themselves. I'm trying to also I'm writing an email right now. I'm doing something, and then it's an argument where you can say the exact same words. You're around here, you're fighting for your life, you're getting ready. You see your partner and you say, hey babe, I am struggling to get out of the house right now. Do you think you could help me out with X, Y, and Z with the kids really quickly?
Yeah.
She's struggling.
Yeah.
Let me
9 times out of
up.
10, that would be met positively.
Yes. Like, okay,
no,
I'm so sorry. I was writing this email, but I see you're struggling. Let me jump up and help you out. Yeah.
Or I just scream at the kids, get up and help your mom.
Help your
All
mother.
Right. Number 2 is pause and check rule. So we want you to pause before reacting and check your tone before responding. So
you did that yesterday.
Yeah,
Good job there.
I did. I let you know you were out of bounds.
Yeah.
I had to fight so that I didn't. I'm also a grudge holder. I had to fight so I didn't hold a grudge against you.
You did so good. I'm really proud of you because you are a grudge holder. And that caused me to go into an immediate apology and recognize my tone was off.
Okay.
So these steps really work.
Okay. So speaking of apology, how do they repair a conversation go wrong? So they came in and they had the wrong tone. How do they repair that?
So you need to acknowledge it.
Yes. Identify it.
Immediately.
Number one, identify it.
Immediately identify it. You need to apologize.
Okay. Yep.
Right? And then you need to ask, hey, can we get this back on track?
Yeah.
I was out of line there.
Okay. So identify it.
Apologize. Get back on track.
And then try and get back on track.
Try and get back on track. And keep in mind, like we were saying, even with our misstep yesterday, it still stings for a second.
Yeah.
So you're still annoyed. You're only human and you have these emotions and you're annoyed that this person came at you with like this crappy tone. So give a little grace, allow them a minute, say, I understand, I probably already kind of got you in a bad mood, but I don't want this to ruin our night.
Yes.
Let me go ahead. I'm working on it. I'm working on having a better tone.
Yeah. No,
and hopefully your partner can be understanding that this is a work in progress for all of us. We're not going to be perfect, but we have to give each other some grace, just like we would other people. You should give your partner more grace than anyone when it comes to trying to better communicate. If you see they apologized and they're trying.
So those were just some communication exercises and get out of jail free card if you so choose to use it.
We just wanted to tell y'all, watch your mouth.
Yes, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Watch your tone. It is so important that you really recognize it is not the words you say.
Yes.
It is how you say them, your body language,
yes,
everything.
Yeah.
Is taken into consideration when your person is looking at you. So if you want to have a happy, successful relationship, you want to have good communication, and most importantly, you want to stay connected with your partner,
yes,
you need to pay attention to your tone and your delivery, because the tone that I had last night had the potential to totally disconnect Andre and I for the whole evening. And thankfully, we were able to recover from that and stay connected, using these steps, honestly, probably because we were working on this podcast. So like I said, this is our relationship therapy, and it helped us stay connected the rest of the night, and we were able to totally recover from it.
Yeah. No, I think my takeaways are very similar. Number one is the 7-38-55 rule. 93% of communication is nonverbal. So understand that, recognize it, and it is going to help you immensely. And then just understand that tone of voice is going to help you build a bridge in communication or burn it down. So keep that in mind. I don't know yet that we'll record next week because
be my show weekend.
Yeah, we'll see.
Very excited. We will be in Vegas next weekend for my show. So yeah, I highly doubt that we will record, but if we come back and we're full of energy and we're excited, we will jump on here and update you guys.
I will be taking the camera though.
Yeah,
I know you didn't like
clips.
when I brought up the idea of doing it on location. You were like,
I
you
don't
don't want
really
the
wanna
extra
do it
stress.
I don't really want to do it on location because I want to be focused. To me, this is a time to be focused. But definitely, we will get clips for you guys. We want to share the journey.
I will take the camera.
Yeah, we'll update everybody, and I think we might, do one when we get home. We'll see.
Okay.
But what are we talking about next episode that we do?
Know.
How to stop having the same fight over and over again?
I'm not sure. We're going to do that. I really want to do in-laws and outlaws.
I want to do one on insecurity and jealousy and how that tears a relationship apart.
Yeah.
I see in so many relationships that ask me for advice, that being just like a cancer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would be worth a whole podcast.
I don't think so, but we can definitely talk about it for sure. Yeah.
I think that should be.
I also don't think in-laws and outlaws would be, and when I say in-laws and outlaws, we're talking about outside entities having a voice in your relationship. They're too much voice in your relationship.
Right.
So that doesn't need to be in-laws. It could be other people. But
so we might be bringing you a compilation of
do a
some
compilation.
of
We do something like that.
Our favorite topics, things that we've kind of wanted to touch on.
That's it. Until next time, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. So please, if this was helpful to you at all, if you're going to be checking your tone, share this with your friends, share this with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever, and make sure you guys like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yes, please do that.
Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
See y'all.